Welcome back, everybody, to Out of Reese's podcast. I'm your host, Reese Shalvis. We got for a rare occasion our co-host,
Mr. Devon Anderson. Hello, guys.
How you guys doing? All right,
Ooh.
Here's a question.
Go ahead.
You ever been scammed?
Absolutely. Honestly, I just recently.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, like it was super weird. I think like 2 weeks ago. I don't even know how this like happened, and I don't know like where it came from. But I checked my like bank statement.
Oh,
and I had like a $700 DoorDash charge.
What?
$700, and I'm like, bro, I haven't ordered DoorDash in forever. Like I haven't ordered DoorDash in like maybe about a year, like because it's like super expensive with the delivery fee and the tip and like all that stuff. I can just drive and go.
Well, like back when we were working security,
Yeah,
we were ordering that every day,
yeah.
bro.
And so then the following day, I had another transaction.
No way.
For like $800 at an Airbnb.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm like, all right, bro. Somebody is fucking with me right now. Like, hell no. Like, no way. And I quickly called Airbnb, and then I called DoorDash, and I'm like, guys, I will literally give you guys whatever you need, but I have not like made any of these transactions, like whatever. DoorDash is like very cool with like giving me my money back. Airbnb was like kind of like iffy with it.
How like when you called them over there?
Yeah, they just was like asking like so many questions, and I'm like, I promise I had nothing to do with this. So yeah, that got finished. And I think the one that really hurt me the most was I got scammed by somebody that I thought was like really one of my close friends. And you know, when you're young, I guess like, you know, you believe that everybody's somewhat your friend, or, you know, you think you know who your friends are. And I should have known better, but I, you know, whatever, I learned from it. So my friend was like, hey, I'm selling a PlayStation 4. And so I think it was like for like $250. So you like meet me at the gas station, and then my cousin gonna come and drop it off. So I'm like, why can't you just bring it with you? But I'm like, I trust you because, you know, you my friend.
Right.
And as soon as I gave him the $250, I have like did not hear
nothing from
him. I was calling his cousin's phone and like texting him.
Was this a friend here in Utah?
No,
or
it
back
was a
in
friend
Baltimore?
from back home, right? Right. We played football together. We had class together.
What the hell?
Yeah, bro. I was like really shook.
Over $250?
$250 is never worth it. It's never like I don't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that kind of like made me mad, and then kind of like understood like really making sure I get to know people for who they are before, you know, being like as trustworthy to them.
But,
so.
Were you living back in Baltimore?
Yeah, this was like no. Actually, I went home for winter break for college, and I wanted to buy a PlayStation. Oh. And yeah, that was how my winter break went.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. It was alright though. I definitely learned from it now. As you can see, probably not. I just got scammed twice, but yeah. It was really, it's like getting scammed is really changing for you, especially from people you know. I would say that.
I've only been, I count this as a scam. So what happened was I bought a motorcycle probably a few months ago, like probably back in June, I think it was. And in the description it said oh, I love this bike. I absolutely babied it. Mm-hmm. It's in great condition. Yep. Blah blah blah. Right. Now I don't know much about motorcycles. Right. I'm still trying to learn. So I meet my brother there, and we test drove it. As it stood, it was running really well. Mm-hmm. The only problem was the tires were super worn out.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels good, sounds good. You know, it wasn't even leaking or anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, sick. This is a sick bike. It was a Ninja 650 2013. So it felt pretty fast too.
Yeah.
And so I came back with the money, and I actually gave him a $400 deposit to hold on to it while I waited for my bank to give me the rest, the cash deposit. So, got the bike, bring it home, and then I take it to the mechanic shop because they're like, hey, I just want to get some work done to it. Then he starts kind of pointing some stuff out. He's like, all right, we'll take a look. And suddenly it's like, oh, it's got this huge oil leak.
Yep.
And then it's got this problem. And I can't remember what all the problems were, but it's like, it's got this problem, that problem. It had all these problems. He was like, so this is how much it's going to cost to put into it. I was like, I just bought it. I guess I'll do it, you know.
Yeah.
So I spent, including the tires, I spent probably $1,600 on repairs. I bought the bike for $4,200
Yeah.
and $1,600 for repairs. Finally got the bike back, still having an issue.
Yeah.
There's like temperatures and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you count that as a scam,
Yeah.
it's just, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I still have the bike.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do with it, if I should keep it and try and get it fixed or whatnot. But
Yeah.
I did. This dude, there was a scammer I ran into a couple weeks ago, which was really weird.
Yeah.
So they're getting clever with this, I swear. So I get added by this dude on Snapchat, and this was about the time when I was promoting the Royal Tea podcast show that I did, you know, a few weeks back, and so I'm like, who's this dude? I just assumed he was from someone that was from the podcast on their story. He's like, yo, bro, I love your face. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, thanks, man. And he's like, I would love to paint a mural of your face. So he basically was going on to tell me that he had this project to paint a huge mural, and he liked my face and wanted to paint it. I was like, okay, that's sick. I was like, whatever, screw it, go. He's like, I just need your permission from you to do it. I was like, go ahead, I don't care. That sounds sick. I was like, wait, just how did you find me? And he's like, quick ad. I was like, quick ad? So you didn't find me anywhere else or anything? And I was like, do you even know what I look like? He was like, no, but I like your Bitmoji. I was like, that was where I was like, what?
What?
So I guess he wanted to paint a mural of my Bitmoji.
Yeah.
But he was like, but I need you to send photos of your face so I can, like, combine them or whatever. I was like, okay, all right. So I took photos of my face. He's like, send me 3 photos of your face. And that's where I was like, that's kind of weird. But
he might be trying to scam you.
Right.
And take your identity.
So, but I still send him the photos because I'm curious on where this goes because
Yeah.
you can't really do much with just photos.
It's a lot, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like if that was the case, then you have photos on your Facebook, right?
Yeah.
People could just go to and snag it.
Yeah, but I think I just think like they have more like selfies, right? If they talking to somebody, they like it poses like you're somewhat real. I guess I don't know.
I mean, you definitely would need more information than just photos.
Oh no,
so
definitely.
Which he didn't have my last name, unless you know he saw my Snapchat name and assumed it was my last name. But it's a weird last name, so. So then he continues talking. He's like, all right, so I'm actually going to be able to pay you for this. So the guy who's hiring me, something about the check. And he's like, my bank doesn't work with the check. And he just starts going off about how his bank's not going to work with the check.
Yeah.
And that we're going to have to use my bank. And he's going to have to deposit into my account.
No, he would have taken every dime from
He
you.
over-explained the situation with the check. I was like, that's where I was like, all right.
Yeah.
They're getting smart, but not smart enough.
So, I will say, I had somebody getting 10 cents from me for about a year.
10 cents.
Just like it kept, just like a point, like just 10 cents from me every time, every month. I never knew where it came from, but I just was like, I don't care. I don't worry about it. It's 10 cents, right?
Right.
But 10 cents adds up if, you know, you're scamming multiple different people and like, you know, nobody ain't gonna really pay attention to that 10 cents. I literally dug through my entire account statement and looked at it and I'm like, where the fuck is this 10 cents coming from? At first I thought it was PlayStation and then
PlayStation.
Yeah, no, I was just like going off, like just trying to figure out where it can like why am I getting charged 10 cents every month? But no. Yeah.
You know, that's so funny because like 7 years ago, I was talking with my friends about like, I was like, bro, I have this genius way to make tons of money. You know, it was a joke, obviously. I wasn't serious about doing this. But I was like, bro, imagine if you just like hacked into like 100 million people's bank accounts and just stole 10 cents from each person.
It adds up.
You know, and I was like, because then you could make like this much money by the end of the year, and we'd be set for life, and nobody's gonna care for 10 cents. And so that's funny that that literally happened.
So it was you.
Yeah, it was me. my auto bot that does it kind of just got finished, so a few years in the making.
Okay, all right.
I got you.
I don't know about you guys, but I have been grinding Modern Warfare 2.
I haven't even played it yet. I've been too busy.
I've been literally enjoying my entirety of my week on Call of Duty. But I just wanted to throw that out there. But let's get started with today's podcast topic.
Speaking of finances, dude, how's that? How much do you spend on it? Did you spend like that special $80 package or whatever?
I only spent like 75. I got the cross-gen bundle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like too expensive. Like, I mean, that is expensive for a freaking game. Don't get me wrong.
How is the game?
It is like magnificent. I love it.
I love the beta.
I changed my like settings on my console to make it seem like I'm like playing on a PC, and it's like I'm in like HD and everything. Like I can see every little like.
Do you have a PS5 now?
No, we still with the PS4
Pro.
Yeah, we grind it. But I'm already maxed out. There's no prestige level, so you know I'm just sitting there at 55. But yeah, I don't know if we introduced it or not, but today's topic is about like finances, right? Like saving in your 20s. How do you do it? Are you good at it? And I think personally it's like very hard for a lot of us to like try to stick with a budget,
especially when you're still young like this.
Yes,
you're like I want all these things.
Yeah, and I like personally, I would just like touch bases on like my like I guess like how my upbringing was and like how that like trickled off and stuff. You know, growing up in a household when you know you don't have a lot, you're not used to like getting a lot of things, like usually like wait years and years and years. Like I watched so much stuff happen because we did not have resources, right? We didn't have this money. What we wanted this, right? And you know, it's always one thing to say, oh, when I get like 10,000, I'm gonna save 5,000, or when I get 20,000, I'm gonna save whatever, right?
Or and like also, like if you want to go see one of the newer movies coming out, you gotta wait till it's on sale on DVD in the store, you know, or something.
Right. And so I think like a prime example was like when I'm at Utah State, we got like our stipends, right? And personally, how like thinking back at it now as a like I guess like a working person now, it's very strange on like why I didn't have a budget then, and like why I didn't prioritize certain things. Because you get into a mentality, I guess, like it's super easy and comfortable for us to be like, oh, I'll just save next month. Oh, I just put this money aside whenever, right? But then it never happens, and you always constantly question yourself and be like, bro, where's my money? Right? Where is my money, right? And at Utah State, all I had was rent and food. I didn't have a car to my last year, and my stipend was, and my phone bill and like all that stuff. But I still had like a decent amount of money,
right?
Whereas I could put it to the side. But I got like, I guess like more satisfied with like going out, drinking, buying all this unnecessary stuff that I didn't feel like that was very important to me. And you know, as they say, you live and you learn about like the things that you should have like prioritized. And you know, as I'm like maturing into my, I guess like older 20s, I'm kind of like realizing that you do sometimes need a budget. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna save for this Japan trip and don't put no money aside for it, and when that time comes you can't take that trip, right? That's a hard conversation to have and be like, bro, you said you were saving, but where is your money at, right? And I understand like people go through things.
That felt like a personal attack.
That was not an attack to you, I swear to God. But it's just like things like that I like since I grew up the way I grew up, I try to look at things for like the bigger picture, and not for like, okay, I just got paid, but I'm gonna go out and go splurge and not basically be comfortable for the rest of the month, right?
Right.
I get paid once a month, and so all I do is prioritize my bills at first, savings, food, and just give me a little bit of money to spend a month, right? And I'm not trying to get into a habit of like over exceeding that. And I don't know, it's been going pretty well.
Well,
And
I have a question.
What?
So, so you said when you're like, especially in your college days, you were just spending. So I've heard this thing where I've heard a lot of people say that if you grew up poor and without money, you'll be better at saving it. But do you feel like that might have directly impacted how much you were spending because you grew up with less money?
Yeah, I would say it depends, right? It's pros and cons of that. Like I'm not speaking for anybody that grew up poor or anything like that. They may have a different mindset. But typically, when I've got something that I was never used to, I did not want to be reminded of anything of how I grew up, right? So I would distance myself from that image by maybe spending more money.
Buying a Rollie?
No, I ain't got no Rollie. I got an Apple Watch. But even an Apple Watch, right?
That's
Apple Watch is like super expensive, right?
Like $400?
There's like 500. This 500? Is the bigger version. The 44, I think, or 40. I don't know which one it is. And like things like that, did I need it? Probably not, right?
But did you want it?
Did I want it? Absolutely, right? But it's like when I grew up, I never got the chance to do that. And I'm a firm believer in like, you know, you only live once and like yada, yada, yada. You know, people would throw that out there. But you also have to be mindful, right? Like of everything, right? Like don't look at what you're getting paid and think about, oh, all right, next month I'm going to save or whatever. Like, actually save for the things that you want, right? That new car, right? That house you want.
That Japan trip.
That Japan trip. Whatever trip it is, birthday trips, whatever, gifts, whatever, just pick money aside. But I think it's easy to say, but it's harder to do because shit happens, right? Shit happens throughout the month that you just can't save, right? You got to get some more groceries, you got to get gas, whatever the case may be. But also, if you look at your bank statement and you see you went to Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, anywhere, more than like once, right? Mm-hmm. Chick-fil-A adds up, right? Starbucks adds up, right? It's like almost $9 for a drink at Starbucks.
That's crazy. Is it that expensive?
It's almost that much.
That's
it's maybe like $8 to $6 or whatever. Like typically, if I get an order at Starbucks, it's like $15. I get a pumpkin spice latte, and then I get like one of their breakfast sandwiches, and it's like $12, bro.
I don't even like the company Starbucks.
Oh wow.
I mean, their drinks. I like their drinks, but I don't like. It's a topic for another day. I just don't like their business.
And like, I think the first thing I did was I looked back at my bank statement, and I'm like, you can go, you can go, you can go, you can go, you can go. Right? Okay. Look at my subscriptions. You can go, Crunchyroll, you stand. Right? I'm keeping my anime with me at all times. But, like, you have to prioritize things that's truly important, especially to set yourself up better later in life, right? And then, you know, they say your 20s are for whatever, having fun or whatever. But also, you know, you can save while you have fun, right? Like, we just went out and, you know, had some fun, right?
What, at the club?
Yeah,
when we went out
right?
to the club?
And that was fun. Got him back in for free. You know, that
was
fun.
Yeah, that was sick.
And, you know, we still enjoyed that, right? And I'm a guy, like, I'm growing into a homebody, but, like, I don't, like, shy away from having fun, right? So, yeah, I got, like, a big trip next year that I got to save for, and then we got to do the Japan trip. So, I don't know, I think, like, just being able to budget is a very important quality, especially when you get in a relationship. I think that is very essential. Like, if you date somebody and they can't save money, dude, it's like you literally are like just constantly keep shooting yourself in the foot, right? Nobody wants to be with somebody that's living a paycheck to paycheck. Understand? Like, I'm not like coming at anybody for their journey or anything like that, but I think it's very important to understand how to manage your money, especially when you start to bring somebody else into the picture, to make both of your lives like easier. So
I think the worst at spending money when you're in a relationship is during the honeymoon phase too, because you're like, oh yeah, I'll get you this.
Yeah.
I'll get you that.
Yeah.
Or you want some food? You know,
Yeah.
like it's when I was in this longer relationship for a couple years. So much money, dude. Oh, it was so
I
bad.
think the average relationship takes half of your money.
it's gotta like.
But,
I mean,
but it's also important to have that conversation, right? Like to have that conversation. Like, but I think a lot of people are shy to have conversations like that because it's a difficult conversation to tell your partner, like, hey, like I think we just need to cut back, or like I can't spend as much money because I'm trying to budget.
and if they get mad at you, then that shows their priorities.
Right, you know
And
what
you're
I'm
like,
saying?
all right, you know.
That creates a conflict, and
Right.
you're just like, and you take the easy way out, which is not saying anything, right? And I'm like I said, like I'm a super huge believer in like please make sure you talk about that because it's important, right? Like it's not important on like who makes more. It's just more important of like if you do make more, so what? Even if you do make less, so what? What are you doing with your money? Right. So,
like, are you reinvesting or whatever, or are you just spending it on your girlfriend, wife, whoever? Right.
Yeah.
And it gets crazy. So, how do you budget now? Like, what are your techniques that you use to budget?
So personally, my girlfriend wanted to write a spreadsheet out for me. But typically I use this app called like Rocket Money, I think it is. And it alerts me when it's the unusual activity, like a transaction that like I did not have last month. And it flags me and it notifies me.
That's sick, actually.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. I was
cool.
like, oh, yeah, this
What's
nice.
this called?
It's called Rocket Money, I think.
Not sponsored.
No, it's not sponsored at all. I just use it to help me because I know if I don't have something to go by, I think like everybody, like you be like, all right, I'm gonna save money in your head, but if you don't got nothing to actually follow along, then it's hard for you to actually budget.
So, is that like your main source of budgeting?
Yeah,
with this app.
Yeah, it's like really, it's called Rocket Money.
Hey, maybe potential future sponsorship from them.
Maybe.
I mean, we already plugging them.
Yeah,
Might as well,
listen,
bro. Hey,
listen, I will take it. I will definitely take
Out
it.
at Reese's@gmail.com.
But like I said again, like it's helps, right? Like you do what helps you save, right? Like not everybody way is going to help you, right? Like it's difficult sometimes trying to take somebody else's technique and try to apply it to yourself because it won't give you the same results, right? And you just have to find out like what works for you. I know a lot of people typically write everything down and write all the expenses down and then follow that step by step. And then some people use like iPads or whatever the case may be, or like I think I've seen people using like envelopes and like writing stuff.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, and like put money there. Yeah. And I think the cash option is very good too. Like you take out all your money, like you leave in whatever your bills are, but you take out the money that you don't use and put that money into like envelopes or whatever.
Right.
And know that you can't like take it out, right? It's easier for me to go to the cash register and be like Apple Pay, ring, ring, right? And then it's like even like I don't want to touch my money. Especially if I see a crispy $100 bill or a crispy 50, you know, I'm like, I'm not breaking that for nothing.
Right.
I'm going to stick to that. I don't know about everybody else. That's like a weird thing that I do. Like, I just don't want to break it. Like, it just looks so beautiful. Peaceful.
Dude, I know what you mean.
Right.
Like, or like when I went to buy my motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I had all the money in cash.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, do I want to spend this right now? This is nice.
Yeah,
I was like flicking it through my fingers.
Yeah.
I feel like my way of budgeting is pretty decent. The problem with it is it's still too easy to access all my money. So, for example, here's what I do. So I have a bunch of different debit cards. I have my general debit card, I have checkings, and I have a gas card, and then a payments card, and then I have 3 different savings accounts. All part, you know, one that's like my general savings, one that's miscellaneous savings, and one that's fund savings.
Yeah.
So what I do is every time I get a paycheck, first thing I'll do is transfer. I know the exact amount I have for bills.
Yeah.
So I transfer that much over to my payments card.
Yeah.
And that's that. And then the next thing I do is, okay, now I need to transfer over some gas.
Yeah.
Before I got a company car, I was probably spending about $45 on gas a week. So I just transferred $90 over for gas.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just basically was like, okay, if I spend more on this than gas, then I just can't go out or whatever. But I never usually did spend more than that.
Yeah.
And then I take over, okay, now what do I have left? If I say had $800 left, I transfer $750 into savings, and then or like about like $700 into savings, keep myself about $100 for the next 2 weeks to spend. And that's kind of how I budgeted. Now the problem is, since I have an app that I can just transfer money over, I have a horrible habit of just
it's super
dipping into savings or whatever.
Too convenient, you know.
Right, and so I'm still battling that.
Yeah.
But I definitely I did use that before I had the bad habits.
Yeah.
To save really well.
Yeah.
Last year and a couple of years ago or whatever. But that's kind of what I do. But it is hard when you see stuff you want. It's so hard to save, especially when you're not
you go
fully
out
in that
be
mindset.
Like, damn, that Target shirt look nice.
Right.
Damn. How much I got? All right,
Damn.
that into there and you got it, right?
I actually just, I see this as an investment, but I just ordered a third pod mic.
Yeah.
One of these for the show this Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and for when we have our your special guest on.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
It should be a great episode next week. I do have a question, and if you guys want to tie in from home, and I just want to hear your reaction to it, because I think this is a very, very important scenario, I guess. When it comes to staying with your parents and saving your money, abuse that as much as possible. That is my personal opinion on that.
We're literally in my dad's basement right now.
Right, like personally, no offense, like for real, like if you don't have no other tie-ins, it should be no reason you should want to. I mean,
and don't feel ashamed.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm moving back in with my parents."
But I know people that have saved literally thousands of dollars staying in their parents' house. Right? Obviously, personally, I would never want to stay in my mom's house, regardless of the situation. Just me, and that's how maybe 50 to 65% of people are, because you want to be able to be independent. You want to be able to do the things you want to do, and you don't want to hear your parents in the back of your ear keep telling you to do this, do that, make sure you do this, right? You want to be able to do those things on your own. But also it's pros and cons to that entire scenario, and I'm curious to see if anybody have any response to that, because personally I think it's a great idea, but it's frowned upon in the society we live in, because it's oh, you still live with your parents, it's a big negative, a big no,
right?
And if you expect when you're dating, right, I wouldn't tell nobody until it was super serious, right? And I'd be like, well, I just saved about almost $80,000 staying at my parents. Obviously, if we get serious, then we can talk about moving out. But you're not about to shame me for saving $80,000.
Exactly. How big's your bank?
Right.
You live out on your own. You're making fun of me. How big's your bank?
Yeah, that's just one thing, right? But typically, not everybody's saving $80,000.
Right. Well, I actually moved. So I moved out for a year back in 2020. I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And as fun as it was, my savings tanked quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I came back here because I was like, all right, I want to save money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here, and at first I was like, dang, sometimes when I'm talking to a girl, I'm like, I don't want to tell her I live with my parents.
Yeah.
But I try not to let it
bring it up.
I just try not to live in shame.
Yeah.
About it.
It shouldn't be something that you should live in shame about, right?
Right.
But if if you guys have that conversation and she brings up wow, you still live with your parents, I'm like, well, I'm saving a lot of money, and there's no point for me to be on my own right now. But also if this got serious, then obviously I'm gonna move out and we can establish something, right? But I just feel like people are so quick to judge in the society that we live in, that it doesn't even get to be able to reach that next point.
Right.
But that was just my quick little scenario that I had.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's really interesting, because there's actually quite a few girls who I've talked to, and they're also back, either live with their parents still, my age, or back with their parents.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a cool connection to make because it's like we both just trying to get through, trying to get by and save money, you know, and it's very cool. It definitely makes dating interesting.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Like, so where do you live? Well,
and then you got your parents. Who was that girl last night?
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing, right? So it's, you know, it's definitely an interesting topic, but like from my perspective, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But like from multiple different people' perspective, it could be looked upon as like, you know, you're not, what is it, a man or whatever the case may be. But I just feel like that is just like, you know, not really necessarily the narrative, especially if you, like, it's one thing to be in your parents and not have a plan, and it's another just to, like, be there, right? Like, no, you ain't saving nothing, your room dirty, like, all this stuff. That's one thing, right? That's a whole issue and you know, whatever. But, no, that was just my 2 cents.
Well, the thing is, okay, now, what also is crazy that really got me. This has hit me hard. Wow. So with rising inflation at the rate it's been rising, right? Part of the problem was I knew it was rising because I've heard about it, read about it, whatever. I just didn't realize how hard it was actually hitting until I was looking at how much I was paying for stuff. Like I was like, oh, you know, because I'm making so much more than I was at my old job, right? Yeah. And I'm like, dang, I'm making decent money. But then I'm like, it doesn't feel like I'm making that much more anymore. And it took me a minute to realize that because of the inflation. I was like, dang, where's my money going?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, due to multiple reasons, that just some bad habits I have, but also inflation. It's like, dang, it's hitting me. You know?
So the crazy thing is I have 2 markets next to me. I have Lee's and then I have Smith's. All right. Lee's, if I go in, bro, I brought maybe 5 items for about $75, dude.
But what were they? What were the items?
It wasn't like that crazy. I think I bought like some pasta noodles. I'm trying to think what was the other hefty one. I don't even remember. But I was like shook. And I went to Smith's and it was like $50.
That's crazy.
Right? But also,
hold up. You said 75. Now you're saying 50.
I went to Smith's.
Oh, so, you went to both?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's like I always try to prioritize Smith's over Lee's because like it is super, super expensive.
Okay.
It's like right across the street from my house.
Oh, okay. I've never even seen that one.
Really? Wow, that's pretty crazy. And then, bro, I never eat Tyson's chicken. But, bruh, I think I sent you a video. It was $15 for the bag, bro. $15 for maybe like 12 pieces of chicken. Honey barbecue. I'm sorry. I'm going to B-Dubs.
Right. It's
to get wings. I'm not going to go.
Because you can get that for like $15.
That's what I'm saying.
B-Dubs, and they're better.
Yes.
So,
I don't know.
So lesson of the day: go to B-Dubs instead of buying
Tyson wings.
Tyson wings.
But I think it's like very important when you graduate from high school. I think it's rare to find people that's like actually mature with their money. And if you listen to this, like, I'm not forcing you or trying to tell you anything, whatever. I'm just saying it's like very important and like good to have a good habit as far as like when you collect your finances. To understand where all your money goes, because you will be literally looking on your bank statement and being like, yo, what is that? How?
Right?
Don't make sense. Like, and then you will go in your head and you're like, bro, I spent this and that. Bro, where's my money, right?
Dude, what I think is crazy is like when you be spending money on food.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's only $5. Oh, only $10. Only $15 for that. And you're just kind of going through that. Then when you look how much you've actually spent, you're like, how did I spend $300 in food in a single week?
Yep. And then do that little calculator, whatever, and then show you the graph. But I think it's like just important I just think like in my high school, we didn't learn that much about finance, or maybe I didn't pay attention as much, but I definitely don't remember us like having a true class about finance and like being able to like be ready when you graduate high school.
Right.
College, they kind of like set you up for success more. But like you kind of somewhat had to go out your way and try to find those resources, which nothing wrong with. But like a lot of people are not going to go out of their way to go find stuff because that's just not in their nature.
My legs going numb.
Got to start squatting.
How was Squattober?
It was pretty good.
Not to change the subject or anything. It just popped in my mind when you said that.
I only got like 485. My back's starting to tight up. I still have like a weird, like, I guess like back, like I felt the pressure on my lower back and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing this again. I really wanted the 500, but it's not too bad. I'm still going to keep like working out and doing legs, but I'm not going to like over exhaust myself anymore. And try to like tank it down for maybe like 3 days a week for lifting. So
I see.
Did 5 days, bro. Working 13-hour shifts. Going to the gym right after those shifts.
Just more money for you to spend, right?
Yeah. No, we don't get paid for overtime.
Oh, that's right. Your salary.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's all good.
Dang, that sucks.
It's all good. And no, but like I just think finance is just like something super, super important that, you know, we all should like take serious because with it, especially like what you just talked about, bro, like we're about to be hit with something rough, maybe recession or whatever, you know. So like you really want to try to get these habits really good.
Really try to live back with your parents for this.
But like a lot of people that like already manage their money well, not worried about it, right? Like they just like, oh, you know, whatever. But people that did not manage their money well probably are not like going to be in the most comfortable places, right?
Right.
But no, that's just my 2 cents. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's 2020, 2022. You know,
COVID.
Just moving forward in the 20s. How's that? We're living in the 20s.
It's honestly. Living in your 20s is 20 to 25. You're like, woo.
Well, I meant the year. Like, we're in the 20s.
Oh, okay.
You know?
But I'm still going to touch on that.
Right.
Like, living from your 20s to 20 to 25, personally, for me, I was like wanting to do more, experience a lot. But once I hit 25, just wasn't like entertaining no more. It just is like there. And I wanted to be more prioritized, like focus on like a career, family, all those things, making sure I have like achievable goal, like goal oriented, all those things, and like still have fun, but also make sure I prioritize my future also.
Right.
Like, not my future for the next year, but my future for the next 5 years and 10 years and things like that. But 2022, yeah, it's been good.
Yep, and now we're already into November of 2022, coming close to the end of the year. That's pretty crazy. Although this year, it's weird. Here's what's so weird about it. Thinking of the individual months, like, oh, dang, October flew by.
Mm-hmm.
August flew by. But when I think of the whole year as a whole, it feels pretty long. Like, I feel like this year's been pretty long.
Flew.
For me, I've been doing a lot, though. I like just a lot of traveling and now this, you know, the podcast and such. It's been crazy, but it's crazy. We got a lot of big stuff coming this Saturday. I'm going to actually this will come out probably after that show though. So if you've already seen it, hey, that's sick.
What?
But huh?
This?
Yeah, this episode's probably going to be coming out after.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
After?
Yeah, maybe. Dude, I got a backlog of podcasts.
Yeah,
I got like 4 episodes to drop, so this one might not even come out till December.
Jesus,
that's crazy. Maybe I'll drop this sooner, just because it's just like the original Reese and Devon podcast, you know, out at Reese's. But yeah, I got a lot of big stuff coming. Next year is gonna be huge. You guys gotta tune in for next year. Biggest year for the podcast in our lives. I think something big is coming next year. Not just in our personal lives, but like
in my personal life, probably.
I think in the world, like. Oh yeah, I got you. I get you. But yeah, like apparently people are saying that
I'm not with what you about to say. What you about to say? Go ahead, say it.
People are already saying that we're already in World War III.
Oh, okay.
What did you think I was gonna say?
I thought she was about to say some 2012 stuff, man. I was like,
oh, you like end of the world?
Yeah.
I mean, World War III.
Well,
could be.
I did see there is an asteroid hitting straight towards Earth.
Really?
Yeah, and it can wipe out an entire continent.
Really? What is it? What? I haven't heard of this. I mean, I know NASA was just throwing rockets to test out the changing trajectories of rockets, and they were successful.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So if we got one, I'm sure we got it covered.
We'll see. But no, yeah, next year should be really good.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited for next year.
I just think like everywhere, everything is kind of like gonna mesh very well. Everything should start to be like more concrete.
The Space Federation's gonna reveal themselves to the world, so I'm excited for that. Stay tuned, aliens. You guys, if any aliens out there watching this,
oh my god,
hey, I'm ready for you guys.
Stop it, man. As long as you guys like anime, I don't care. That's all I care about. Next week should be really fun. Is a great topic about dating in your 20s. What else was it?
It's just gonna be about relationships and just dating in the modern day now. Because it's definitely changed a lot.
Ooh.
Even in the last 10 years, it's changed.
Last 4 months. Last 5 months.
Last 2 years with COVID and everything.
Yeah,
it's so different now, and some hate it, some love it. I feel like it's just a mixed bag of better things and worse things.
I will touch one thing.
All right.
I think the world we live in is like recycled. That sounds weird, but like I feel like styles recycled, love languages are recycled. The dating era is probably more like we live in a society where like cancel culture, like all this stuff, like influence, like all that stuff matters. But even back in the day, it was a lot of crazy stuff.
Now, I don't want to get too far into this because we got to wrap up here.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could really say we've been recycling styles and such since the beginning of humans, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
sorry, I'm not wearing no bear, no man cave thing.
But essentially, it's just been evolved bear skins into what you're wearing today, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just how I see it.
My fur mink.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, dude, comment below. How do you guys like to save money and budget your stuff? Comment below if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, well, you don't got nowhere to do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you want to follow the podcast on social media, it's just out at Reese's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I still haven't touched the Facebook. It's live. I just haven't done anything on it.
Oh, wow.
It's just
what a guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm absolutely amazing at promoting. So good. No, I'm still working on it. But you want to promote your Insta?
No. Promote my Insta?
If you want to.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, guys, if you interested, have any questions, my Instagram handle is _vulnerable. No, that's Twitter. I'm sorry. And then my Instagram is A12_King.
My man said, "No, I don't want to promote this podcast."
Oh no! Oh dang, my bad. I do promote it every time it comes out.
I know.
But yes, I appreciate you guys every week.
Especially the ones who listen every week.
Yeah, every week. I know
you
it's
guys
like crazy, but as you guys listen, just please like comment a lot and give us like some like valuable feedback, whether that's like appreciation or things that you wanted to see that we didn't touch on.
How can we improve?
Yeah.
How can we improve? That'd mean a lot. I want to make this the best podcast in the world. We're gonna become #1. Joe Rogan, watch out.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Peace.